following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
We are back. That's right, Hanging with the Boys. We are back after draft. There's a live look right there at the Ford Center, Tostitos Championship Plaza. What's the weather today? It's overcast. We've had some good days, overcast, 79 degrees, feels like 79 degrees, a little bit gloom and doom, but, us old folks, we always say we need the rain. We need the rain. Good for the grass. You young people don't understand that just yet, but when old people say we need the rain, it's good for the grass, cut the sprinklers off, you might have put a little fertilizer down, might have laid some seeds down. This is the grass growing part of the year, so we need a good rain every now and again. But we also needed a good draft every now and again. The draft just concluded last week. Cowboys having 9 picks in the 3-day draft period in Las Vegas, and we're going to dive into what the Cowboys did. One of us in here came in here just beaming and gleaming. Yeah. He called me twice this weekend. I hadn't had a chance to call him back. I always tell him if I don't have time, if I don't have 25 minutes plus, I can't answer the phone. And I just couldn't quite get that just yet. But before we dive into the draft, let's just do a little wellness check. Kurt, how are you, brother?
Good. Had a good weekend. It's a nice little storm rolled through last night.
Yeah.
Like you said, got some rain, but feeling pretty good. Glad to be here with you guys today.
Nathaniel,
I'm excited.
You're excited?
Feeling good.
Hey, what you said something about that rain, and I wanted to just add a little something to that. Unless you've played football in over 50, because your bones ache when it rains.
That is actually true. My knee is bothering me when the rain comes. Yeah. But I'm
excited. Let's go, Jess.
There's this thing that we all fall victim to at some point in times in our lives. More often than not, we joke about it, and I always talking about being left on the porch. Right? There was a level of hope that was in me that this time, when my dad said he was coming to pick me up, that he actually was, no, wait, I'm going somewhere.
I'm going to do a wellness check with you.
I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. Ride with me now. You like to ride with me. Come on. Let's ride the baseline out.
Right.
Okay.
And there were times when I would always say, like, this is going to be the time. No. I say, Grandma, no, he said it this time. Like, this time, he's going to come. He's like, all right, baby. She said, okay, baby. All right. And I'll sit in that porch, and cars go up and down that street for months, for weeks, for sometimes even years. I would be like, this is the time, though. And so there was this level of hope that he was going to come. And for a long period of time, he never showed up at all.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like, especially when I know why Nate's calling. I know why when I walked in here, he's chinning and grinning from ear to ear.
Yeah.
It's this level of hope that the draft brings. And it puts us on the porch. And it says every single year that we are going to go and get the pieces, and that this is going to be the year.
Right.
This is going to be the year, Kurt.
Yep. You know it.
That the Cowboys do what they're supposed to do in the offseason, do what they're supposed to do in the draft.
Yes,
and
sir.
This is going to be the year,
Yes, sir.
since you've been playing, Nathaniel Newton.
That's right.
That the Cowboys get back to Super Bowl contention, Super Bowl, what word am I looking for? They just get back to being Super Bowl realistic opportunities.
Right.
So coming out of this draft, how do you feel, Nate?
I feel great.
But this is the hope.
I feel great.
Nate Newton's hope is what a lot of Cowboy fans have.
Sounds like you might be feeling differently.
No, I'm just saying this is what Jerry Jones and the Jones families banks on. They bank on no matter what went wrong, no matter how people feel, there's this cycle of resetting hope and optimism every single year. And it starts in the draft. And they'll bring some guys in because you watch the Twitter landscape and you look across the board and the Cowboy fans, the true blue and silver Cowboy lifers,
right?
They will dissect every pick, and no matter how good or how bad, they're going to say that this is the next. You know, we got the next. Hall of Fame offensive lineman. We got the next Hall of Fame defensive end. We got the next Hall of Fame wide receiver. It's that level of hope that the Joneses bank on and profits off of every single year. So as we get into this draft, our first round pick, I'm gonna turn it over to you, Nate, because none of us know offensive line better than you.
Well,
so when you look at Tyler Smith, the number 24 overall pick for the Cowboys in the first round out of Tulsa, they have him listed as tackle, but he's going to start out as an offensive guard.
Yeah.
And the pros about this guy is he's mean, he's nasty, he has size, he has strength. The cons about this guy is he come from a small market school, led the NCAA last year in penalties for an offensive lineman, and now that he's moving to guard, he already has some kind of hand placement technique issues. But they're saying, move him in the guard. You can kind of disguise that a little bit because he's not on the island, one-on-one. So there's some pros and some cons about this player. But Nate, how do you feel about the Cowboys' first-round pick?
I called a few people too, man, because like I told Kurt earlier, I'm telling everybody, I didn't do my normal just go at it, looking at linemen, going to the Senior Bowl, because the way I looked at the Cowboys this year here is I want to give a player a fresh start. And I read these things you're talking about, Jess. I talked to a few people. The only problem he has is hand placement. His feet is good. His hips are good. All Coach Philman got to do is some technique, some hand techniques. Randy Wright was good with, the taekwondos and those type techniques, punching, releasing. Coach Philman got to teach that. He didn't do a very good job with the last guy that left out of here. He's got to teach that. I'm serious.
Now, so let me ask you this, because what we had before in Connor Williams, the biggest thing was
the holding.
The holding, right? Yeah. Now, I've never played in the trenches. Thank God. I'm way too pretty for that. Way too pretty to play in the trenches. It ain't too many handsome, trench players. Y'all get roughed up in there.
You can call it how you see it, but I'm just call it how you feel it.
But when you talk about coaching, the last guy that left here, his issue was strength, right? Didn't have really good strength, got bullied a little bit, had some other issues. And I look at and I say, are we taking one issue and replacing it with another? Because if we're relying on coaching, to me, I thought it was a lot easier to build strength. And tell me if I'm wrong, Nate, to build strength in a player who's been here for a couple off seasons than it is to build in better technique.
It depends on the player. I tell people, if you're not an athlete, you through. So you got to have some type of athletic ability about you, and you got to have a willingness to learn. This kid can learn technique. If the people I talk to, he got decent feet, he got good hips, he's mean, he's aggressive. Okay, what he got to do now is lock in my hand placement. It's always about my hands. It's always about my hand. That's one thing. That's one thing out of a million things that can go wrong. If he can learn his hand placement, if he can punch, learn how to let it go, jab, stab, whatever. We had coaches, Coach Wise. We had coaches that could coach that.
Yeah.
Technique is a want-to thing. The ability to go out there hit a goal post when nobody else ain't looking, punch a wall when nobody else ain't looking, hit the speed bags when nobody else ain't looking, doing the things that's necessary.
What about putting a hot towel on your neck if your neck gets stiff?
Well, we hoping Tyron don't do that more than 6 times this year.
I thought technique would be easily learned than strength, like you said, because I would think that that's like your makeup or whatever, you know.
I think for me, technique wise, it's habit, right? Technique is habit forming. And what ends up happening is with technique is that I'm so used to doing things a certain way. And here is the biggest difference between high school, college, and pros. High school, college, and pros is when I was in high school, I was the best thing around. So I didn't have to have really good technique because I just was a better athlete than anybody that I faced. Then college, you kind of got to start figuring out, you got to add a little strength because now you're coming in at 17 years old, there's a couple 22-year-old guys around there, right? And then some of those guys are league ready because now you're starting to go into facing not only guys from your small fishbowl, but now facing guys from all across the country. But then when you get to the league, that is the best of the best of the best. Right. So those guys are the strongest, the quickest, the fastest. So if your technique over all those years has not been habit forming to the best of your ability, and you've created bad habits, but because you were just a better athlete than most people, what happens when you face the Nate Newtons of the world? What happens when you go and face the Reggie Whites of the world? You know, when you got to face Aaron Donald, who is a tactician and
a leverage player.
A dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the part. So, I mean, I can always get in the weight room and lift weights. That's easy.
But see, this is what happened to Connor. It didn't matter. See, this is where your mind got to be strong. It didn't matter what Connor did in the weight room. In his mind, he was never strong enough. So when his mind is always, I got to do a little extra. I got to do a little shove. This guy's getting away. Even though the guy right in front of him, this guy's he's bullying me. All of a sudden, you got to hold him.
Yeah.
Gotcha. This guy don't have that problem mentally.
Right.
He know he's a bulldog. He know he's bad. He know he's strong. Yeah. He don't have that problem. So all you got to do is work on his technique.
So we expect the first-round pick to be plug-and-play starter. Is he going to be able to learn that technique in time for this season?
Yes, he will. He has no. Look at that. He has nothing else to do.
Look at that hope in his voice, Kurt.
No, Jess.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna tell you what Jimmy Johnson once told one of our players. Son, do you like your mom and dad to get up and go to work every day?
This is your job.
This is your job. Yeah. Now, if you don't want to get better, go on back to school. And yes, it'll hurt, but we ain't got to pay you, and we can get somebody else. See, this is job. This is the problem that the Cowboys have been having lately, is not enough dedication to your craft. This guy got to be dedicated. You know, and I heard Mr. Jones, Stephen Jones say, well, we don't know where he's going to be. That's what Todd Archer. We don't know. If this dude is not a starter, that's the draft pick you wasted. I promise you could have went somewhere in a different position and got a starter. This Cowboy team is not good enough to say this guy's not a starter.
Yeah.
You drafted the wrong guy. I got to believe that.
We talked last week about if the center's there or the guard's there, you prefer the center. But Lindenbaum was there.
Yeah.
He got taken next. I guess the Cowboys felt he was a little light. But was that a guy you were like, wait a minute, we should be taking him?
I think where the Cowboys went was, and this is this is the phrase or the word combination that I'm beginning to hate, is position flexibility. They went and saw and said, hey, this is a guy who can play guard right now and in the future can bump out to play tackle when Tyron doesn't, when Tyron is no longer here. And I think that to them was more tantalizing and sexy to get a guy who had position flexibility where he could start one way and then in 2 or 3 years maybe just go ahead and bump on out the left tackle. That way you have time, you can kind of still build on those things. And instead of just going to the center where he would have had to been that one spot, that one place for the duration of his career. So I think that's where it kind of went. I thought, I would have preferred like Nate was saying, give me the surefire plug-and-play guy right now.
Yeah, you got to. You got a right tackle, whether you like him or not, it's still. You got all world at your right guard. You got a center that's okay. He's just okay. He's an average center. Okay, you get a guard. Now and then if you get the center just to hold up, you got a guard that's gonna start. This is this guy. Now you still got a left tackle that's a maybe. I can deal with that. I can deal with the maybe. You can't have a bunch of maybes on the offensive line.
And I was going to ask you guys this question as well, because when you look at the way that this line is currently built, right? And let's just go, and we don't know, but we're going to assume right now that the starters will be right tackle Steele, right guard Zach Martin, center being, I'm drawing blank on that center. Biotish. And now Smith at left guard and left tackle.
Right.
What happens when, because it's going to happen, going to happen. I'll bet mortgage on it. When Tyron has to go and miss 4 games. Now you bump this kid out. Do you bump this kid out to play tackle?
I wouldn't.
Or do you leave him put to continue his progression and growth there? And now you put someone else at tackle? And if you're going to put someone else at tackle, who is that tackle that you're now saying is going to have to play and be the force of this offensive line for my $40 million quarterback?
Will McClay will figure it out.
Yeah, well,
he don't. When just taking a shot at the offensive coordinator, when you don't have a scheme, okay, you can't afford to just bounce around anybody everywhere. When your scheme, and this is just me taking a shot at the offensive coordinator, when you don't have a solid scheme and you're running a bunch of plays, you got to get in there and find out what your guys can do. Get it. Don't have this kid head spinning. Let him get in, work on his technique, be the best guard he can be, or the best tackle. But back and forth, no. Let's don't do that to this kid.
Yeah, I think that'd be a huge
let's don't do that to. Let Will McClay them go out and find somebody, because I think they made a good pick. I don't know how great it'll be, but I think they made a good pick.
All right. Mr. Jones, he did say in the press conference that they drafted Josh Ball last year, and they drafted this Matt Letzko from North Dakota this year, and he was saying basically we may have our swing tackle on the roster now with these 2 young guys, which that sounds pretty dangerous to me.
It does, but what can you do? What can you do?
Go find a veteran?
Yeah.
Well,
there's some out there. Mm-hmm. But what we will do is we'll take our first break of the day, and we'll go through the rest of the Cowboys draft picks and
the start of the draft still to come.
And I'll tell you why I think the Eagles and the Cowboys maybe got 2 of the biggest draft steals in all of football after the break. Hanging with the boys.
Tease there.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo quiero guacamole.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office and your gym. for teaching Grandma how to video call and teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
Back to Hangin' with the Boys.
Welcome back to the most searched podcast on the .com network, Hanging with the Boys. We are without our fearless leader today, Shannon Gross. So I'm in the captain's seat, and Hanging with the Boys is brought to you by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. We went through the first round. Well, we went to the first pick of the first round for the Cowboys, and we all had our feels of what we thought he was going to be. And now I want to go through the rest of this draft and talk about some of the other players that the Cowboys picked up. And when we get to it, I also want to tell you why I think that the Cowboys, as well as our rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe got two of the biggest steals in the draft. And I mean, like, upside is upside, but it's going to take a little bit of help from some other departments to make sure that this thing works out. So let's dive right into our second round pick, which was Sam Williams, which, by the way, Nate, because we know how you are just so eloquent when it comes to names, he actually wants to go by D. He doesn't want to go by Sam. His middle name is like De'Eric or something like that. And he's like, back home, it was on a podcast. I don't remember the podcast, and it was RJ Ochoa. Sorry if I don't remember the podcast, but he was on the podcast. And he was talking about how back home, no one calls him Sam. He goes, so when I go back home, he goes, you'll never hear anyone say Sam. Everyone calls me D. So going forward, we'll honor that.
All right.
At least I will try. And then if he doesn't do well, he will be Sam. If he doesn't play well,
Samuel.
He will be Sam. And when you watch this guy at Ole Miss, you saw just his pass rush ability, right? He was one of the best pass rushers and sack getters in all of football.
Was your first team All SEC?
Yeah, first team All SEC. I think he had like 3 seasons where he was like 8+ sacks. When you talk about trying now to replace the absence of Randy Gregory at that bookend position to go along with Tank Lawrence, because I didn't think the Cowboys were. I didn't think the Cowboys, if you watch them coming off that edge, having that bend, and the thing that's remarkable about D. Williams is this right here. It's the speed, right? He's another one of those guys who at the draft ran some of those insane numbers in the 40. I think it was like a 4.4 or something like that at 250-something pounds in the draft. But he's good at the point of attack, gets off blocks. He knows how to get to the quarterback. And having a guy like this, he still has some talk about technique. And I think that's a lot of things that we're going to look at when we're talking about a lot of draft picks. Athleticism is so high now. Guys are just so freaking athletic. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So sometimes the focal point on technique isn't there because it is like, you know what? When you're a college coach, I don't have that much time to focus on technique. Hey, just do your athletic ability and go get the quarterback.
Right.
And so if he can come in and work with our staff and really work on those hand placements, that dip and rip, the power punch, the long arm, the stick, the getting around the corner, understanding where the quarterback is in the pocket, and containing the quarterback while still getting to the quarterback, I think this is going to be a very, very, very high impact player for the Cowboys.
I just love when you come in and the first thing the player director say or the head coach, they don't have to say, it's more than one way to get to the quarterback if you don't have speed. This guy got speed. He got a little athletic ability. I didn't see a lot where he had to bend a lot and, bend the corner a lot. But he, like you said, he know where the quarterback at, and he can get there in a hurry.
See that right there?
Yeah, he can get there in a hurry.
That tackle right there, being able to bend, get that shoulder dip and rip.
Get there in a hurry. And so when you see a guy that can do this right here, all he needs is just a little work from the coaches. Don't bother him. Yeah. Enhance what he has and turn him loose.
You just start him out as a pass rusher?
Oh, yeah, bring him in, yeah.
I mean, do you worry about the stopping the run?
He looked like he can get underneath some blocks. He ain't got to take everybody. He quick enough to get up underneath some blocks and make some things happen. You see him right there? He can jump out the way and get back in the hole. And see, that's what I like about our defensive coordinator. He sees what this guy is, and he can enhance and add on to what he is.
Yeah, Quinn loved him.
Yeah, so
him out and all that.
What I'm seeing right there, man, I mean, it's going to happen in a hurry with him.
And they talked about one of his, like, when you go back and you watch film, and they always say, put on that tape where he went to cross.
Yeah.
One of the top tackles in this draft, and you saw him right there. He ran over, and around a lot of those guys. When you're talking about some of the best offensive linemen in the league. So, and I will say this: I'm always a fan of. I'm a fan of pedigree. So, like, if your daddy or your brothers or I'm always a fan of that. If you got that thing in your family gene, I'm always a fan of that, because that tells me that you at least know. You at least know. You've been around it. You know it. You understand it.
Yeah.
And then I'm really high on where did you play. Mm-hmm. Like, to say that you were one of the top dogs in the SEC when you go up against, you have to go up against the Georgias, the Alabamas, the A&Ms, the Mississippi States, and all that kind of guy who produces a lot of the guys who we watch on Sundays.
Yeah.
And you're able to compete at a high level there. That always does a little bit more to me, to say that he'll be used to the competition level come Sunday here.
Is there any knock on his off the field, especially when your second round pick last year has got some off the field?
I'm going to tell you something.
Talent versus tolerance.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. I just think, I think when you get a guy like that, you just tell him straight up, say, look here, this is what we expect.
Right.
Yeah, but they tell all those guys that. They tell all those guys that.
You got to stick to it. You can't tell a guy. And then that's like telling your kid, get over there and sit down, and then you walk out the room. You got to be willing to say, sit down, and if he flinch, be on him. You got to be on this kid, man. Now, if it's an honest mistake where something went haywire just for that hot split second, if you have no history of that, if nothing, that's another story. If a kid ain't got a history or something, I don't know him, so I can't make a judgment, but it's how you open the door and let a person in your house is how you going.
Right.
If you got rules and regulations, and then this kid break these rules, it's got to be something to pay. You can't. Mr. Jones helped me a couple of times, but it came a point where he said, you know what, man, no more. The next one out the door.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't make it out the door.
and that's the biggest thing is there's a couple things that stardom, that celebrity, that money does. It of course, you makes your pockets a little bit fatter, but it also enhances the dude that you really are.
Yes.
Like money doesn't change you. Mm-hmm. Fame doesn't change you. It makes you exactly who you are on another level. And that's one of the biggest things. And I'll have a chance to talk to the rookies again this year, and I'll reiterate.
Man, call me. I'll go over there for free. Call me when you go talk to them.
I'll reiterate it again to the rookies, like, this ain't Ole Miss.
Call me.
This ain't Ole Miss. It's not. Like, whatever I don't care what program you are a part of. I don't care. Alabama, USC, I don't care. This ain't it.
Right.
What you're about to experience as far as coverage and notoriety and recognition, I don't care what program you've been a part of. When you come to the Dallas Cowboys, it is magnified times 50. And every little thing that you do becomes a mountain, and every mountainous thing that you do becomes a planet. And I think sometimes they don't understand that, because in those small little country college towns, if you were the man, you were able to get away with those little things. In Dallas, you're not, especially with social media and everything. You're not going to be able to get away with those things. So I hope that those things, like Nate was saying, is not a history. it's not a pattern, but those things are being able to be rectified. And coming here says, "Hey, I got a new leaf, I got a new start, and I'm gonna change the narrative of what it was in the past and go forward with great things." Let's jump into our next pick. The Cowboys out the door with Amari Cooper, out the door with Ced Wilson, out the door with Malik Turner. Into the door is Southern Alabama Jalen Tolbert. Thoughts? Is this the guy that's going to put in work that frees up CeeDee Lamb? Is this the guy who we're going to replace with? Where do you think he fits in the pecking order of getting this offensive tack back to being one that people fear?
Right, he's got good size. They say he's had obviously a great college career, although it was at a lower level. I don't know if that's going to be a big jump for him. I mean, he's a third-round rookie. I don't know how much you can expect of an impact this year, especially with Gallup. I don't know if he's going to be – if he can step into the number 2 role. I don't know if he can do that. Even number 3 role, So I think he's – just from what I've read, everybody's high on him. He's a good pick, but, I don't know how big of an impact he's going to have this year.
Jesse, when we was talking last week, all I wanted was me a route runner that could catch the ball. This kid's supposed to be a route runner. Yeah. Now, I know he's going to have to deal with hands, and on this level, they're going to lay hands on him. But can he run his routes with precision, and can he come out of those breaks at the right time and do the right thing? So that's what I'm. Can they accelerate this? Do we have the wide receiver coaches and the quarterbacks to help this kid accelerate this? Because we took CeeDee Lamb a couple of years ago, and Dak personally worked with him. Can they personally work with this kid and accelerate him just a little bit so when he get ready to face our corners in training camp, when he come out of training camp, will he have some of that with him? Will he have that confidence to run those routes and to understand that there's different coverages that's going to face him? That's a lot to ask.
When I see him play, the first thing when I look at a receiver and I watch him on film, it's always like I get speed, I get routes, I get off the line of scrimmage. The first thing I look at is how does he catch the football?
He catches it nice.
Is it a comfortable thing? Yeah. Right? Because you watch some guys who struggle, and they may be good players, but they bobble the ball. It's body catches. It's like kind of unsure of themselves. And that's the one thing when I watch Jalen that sticks out is he has a supreme amount of confidence when the ball is in the air. He attacks it, but he doesn't attack it where he's fighting it. It's a. I'll tell you off air what my coach used to say. How you have to kind of cradle the football. It's like when you're with a woman. It's like you want to be firm and aggressive, but you got to do it with a gentle touch. And so when I look at him, the way he attacks the ball, it's firm and aggressive, but it's a confidence and gentle touch. And so what I want to know from when I see him play is where is he going to play? Because he has size. Yeah. And I am just a firm believer of this, and I think if you're going to get the maximum and the best out of CeeDee Lamb, it is no longer leaving CeeDee Lamb in the slot. It is playing him back outside where he was most of the time at Oklahoma, being able to be the playmaker that he is. Now, if this young guy is going to be able to come in and make the proper adjustments and do the things where he understands how to run routes in the slot and be a slot receiver with the coverages and all that kind of space stuff, then I think he'll help this team tremendously. But the one thing I can for sure feel good about, this kid, when you watch him on tape, he catches the football.
He catches it.
He catches the football. Like that, it's contested catches, over the middle, behind him, up high. And when you see that in college, you hope and you say, well, I was playing on a team where when we faced tougher competition, my quarterback may not have been NFL type of quarterback. Right. So I had to make a lot of these contested catches. And he's done it with ease. And he's able to catch the ball and then get that yak as you see him running away from defenders against Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So you would like to think when he gets in the league and he has a quarterback who actually can throw the ball to him where it's supposed to be, when it's supposed to be there, that's going to help him much more in his after-the-catch playmaking ability.
What did you think of Dak calling him ahead of time? Getting him. He supposedly had a conversation when the team asked him to talk to him a little bit.
I love it. I mean, this is going to be one of your guys that. This is going to be one of your guys. So you need to get in with him right now and set expectations.
Yeah,
here's what I think we're going to have to do, young fella. Whenever they call your name, I don't need you now at South Beach. Down there enjoying the fruits of your labor.
So pick up Sam on the way up here.
Yeah, I need you to go ahead, get it out your system the weekend of the draft, and then I need you on a plane. I need you at the DAC yard so we can get this stuff together.
And pick up Sam on the way.
Now this next draft pick, the 4th pick, 129th pick. Nate, this is look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
It's the start of the draft, baby.
Look at him. The Cowboys went and drafted Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin. I'm just going to toss it to you, Nate. This is.
Hey, look here. This Ferguson kid, he has been in the spotlight ever since he stepped on campus at Madison. It took him a moment to get where he needed to get. But this is what I like about this guy. He's an all Big Ten selection. They don't throw the ball at Wisconsin, y'all. They block.
I knew that was coming.
They block. He is a reliable pass catcher and a blocker, and he's the best blocker in this class. I mean, this is what Kurt and his boys wrote.
Kyle Yeomans.
Yeah. And we went and got this dude. We got a blocking tight end, fellas. Cut the rest of them right now. Jake Ferguson, once he learns the speed of the game, now we can have an outside zone play for Tony Pollard.
Wow.
This is the start of the draft.
The start of the draft. Wow. All right.
Besides getting Quinn back in here as a coach, this is the start of the draft.
Well, I don't know. We see anything else?
No, I'll let
I'm just saying,
man.
Well,
yeah.
Then we get into the 5th round, and this is where the Cowboys had majority of their picks.
Yeah.
And this is the portion that day 3 of the draft is, a lot of people call it the scouts draft. Mm-hmm. That's when guys like Chris Hall and Will McClay, that's when you, and the rest of them, this is when you kind of really, really, really make a name for yourself. When you, and in the scouts portion of the draft, I always feel like you should be able to go find at least 3 rotational players, 1 starter, and another development guy. 3 rotational guys. Core special teams guys.
Kind of lofty thinking there, isn't it?
No. That's the scout portion of the draft. 3 rotational guys / core special teamers,
all right.
A starter, and then a future project.
Okay.
That is the scout portion of that draft. That's how you kind of make your way, and then you get into, I can't even pronounce this name, Matt.
Let's go
from Northern Dakota. Chris was showing us some B-roll while we were in the break of this guy, and the first thing that sticks out of him when you see him on film is, one, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. He's mammoth. I was gonna say he's huge, but then everybody was like, oh, he's huge. He is a big dude. He is a big dude. And then the second thing you think is that right there. Boom. Yeah. He's a mauler. He is a guy who is going to just maul you down. Now, again, really big in size, a mauler. How will he handle the speed of the National Football League? Because normally when guys are that big and that tall, sometimes you struggle with the quickness. The hips. Now, if he gets his hands on you, it's probably night. See you tomorrow. But it's that part of it is being able to get in, and he'll learn from a great guy. He'll learn from Tyron Smith, who's another large human being who it's unfair the way his body
run that back because you see he did something real nice. If we could have ran the other one back, where right when he hit the guy, he sunk his hips.
Yeah.
If he can do that repeatedly over and over and over, see right here, watch. Okay, right here, the grunted, hit, boom, he sunk his hips and came back inside. That's a hell of a thing. Now, I know that's against Podunk, whoever blind system, but that was a hell of a thing. To sink your hips, to fall back inside, that was nice. That was nice.
So this is potentially who may be your future left tackle. Yeah. This may be the guy who ushers in the future of Cowboy football at left tackle. It's not if, but when Tyron Smith either misses games and or retires. Yeah. This Tyron may have about another year, maybe 2 left in the tank before he hangs up his cleats with all the injuries, neck, back, elbow, all that stuff. So getting him in now and allowing him to develop is going to be key. 167, Deron Bland, DB out of Fresno State. I'm not going to spend much time on him.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
Don't know much about him.
Cornerback, again, I guess.
Yeah, cornerback, going to get some. You always try to grab as many cornerbacks as you can in the draft sometimes so you can have a bunch of.
You know what the great Gil Brett used to tell us, man? When you get past the 4th round, you should be seen and not heard. You should be seen and not heard. You know what? You can talk about all these dudes. I want to see them. Like I told Kurt on the phone earlier, I want to see them. Yeah, some guys I'm going to talk about up into the 4th round. After the 4th round, I want to see you, Jess. I want to see you. I want to see you saying, wow, man, that guy there going to be on the practice squad. That guy there going to be a rotational guy. Ooh, that guy there can even be in the rotation, on the field rotation.
What do you think about the since Will McClay's kind of taken over, he's prioritized like Power 5 guys, it seems like. That's been the focus of the draft. But this year, they Tulsa, South Alabama, Fresno State. I mean, it looked like North Dakota. I mean,
you know what has happened? It is called. You can get into something that portals you.
That transfer portal.
So you can't just lock in on the Bamas of the world no more, because a kid from Bama can get mad and run straight to Jackson State.
Yeah.
A kid from Florida State can run right on over to North Carolina. So you got to be. Now you got to be like, Scotty, beam me over to South Alabama. We got a kid that just left. We just got a kid that just left Tennessee. Yeah. We need to see him. You got to take it where this is how it was in the early 70s.
Yeah.
The late 60s and the early 70s when athletes was everywhere. Then all of a sudden the Power 5 took over.
Yeah. Does this increase the learning curve at all?
With wide receivers, it should. With wide receivers, and it should help quarterbacks. But wide receivers and cornerbacks, it helps. Offensive linemen, I still think you have to be real careful, because nobody's teaching feet anymore. Mm-hmm. Nobody's teaching feet. Everybody's talking grab, overpower. But the other positions, it should help, because you can get a kid from anywhere now. And so your coach is going to have to be on par. Like I was talking to Dion just yesterday. He's like, hey, you have to be on par. He released a few guys because he like, man, my kid got stuck, and we needed another level. Mm-hmm. So he went and got a coach that can get his kid to another level. You have to go now and get a coach that can coach. People, not scheme, people.
Mm. And so I get to my tees.
Oh,
okay.
I get to my tees.
Your turn now. Nate had his.
I'm just saying, man. Don't get mad at me. I'm gone. Y'all have a good one, man. I just talked about Ferguson. Y'all have a good day.
I get to my tees at 176 in the 5th round. Linebacker out of LSU, Damon Clark. Mm. This kid could quite possibly be the steal of the draft between he and the Dean kid out of Georgia who the Eagles took.
Yeah.
Can possibly be the steal of the draft.
What position did Dean kid play?
Linebacker. The only thing that stands in the way is the medicals.
Right.
That was the issue. And with this kid, it's a back fusion. And so he's basically going to be redshirting this upcoming season. But if Dr. Cooper and company, Britt Brown and company can work to get this kid back. And I know that everyone's going to say, have the fear of the Jalen Smith, right? I get it. I'm all. The difference is this kid was 5th round and not a 2nd rounder.
Yeah.
Right. That's the biggest. The capital isn't as great if this kid doesn't pan out. But I think you talk about value. This was a kid prior to the back fusion would have gone could have snuck into the 1st round. Was not going to make it out of the 2nd round. That's how good. Look at this kid. He can run you down. He can be physical with you. He played at LSU. I mean, this kid is
real. See, I'm gonna tell you something.
He was a Buckus finalist.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. This is a no lose. This being the fact where he was drafted, where he came from, the competition he played, this is a no-lose for the Cowboys.
Or a win-win, either or.
You're more positive than me. You're more positive.
I'm just saying this.
No, your wording was more positive than the correct way to do it. This is a win for the Cowboys. If he don't touch the field, this still was a win for the Cowboys. If he don't touch the field, it's still a win. What happened to Jalen, that cannot happen.
Yeah.
That cannot happen, brother.
Yeah. I mean, you see him right here versus Clemson. Running the ball down 30 yards down the football field for an interception. There isn't anything that this kid cannot do on the football field. That's Matt Corral that he runs down. You're right there. I mean,
he just did the shark, the Kenny Gant.
When I tell you, if this back thing works out, and I have all the faith in the world in Britt Brown, because when you look at what Jalen Smith was his first year coming out. After that injury, he was.
What happened to his back, man? What happened to this?
He had a back fusion.
It wasn't discovered till at the combine.
At the combine,
it was kind of weird.
So he had to go and get neck-back fusion. It was discovered at the combine, and that's what made him drop. Of course, to the
Will McClay, way to go get him, son.
So this is to me again the Dean kid out of Georgia who went to Philadelphia. And
we got in the film on this Dean kid.
Dean kid should have been a 1st-round pick. Everybody thought he was a 1st-round pick.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And what happened to him?
He's got some medical stuff.
Shoulder, and so
I was getting ready to leave.
Yeah, no, and he fell all the way down.
That's my second star. Let me star up. Let me start him up.
But this kid right
He's
here,
a year away, right?
He's a year away. He'll be a year away, so he'll be.
Oh man, Cowboys just had an A+.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, for 2 picks.
But
two picks for me.
No, do you want to see Dean? I mean, we didn't draft him. Philly did.
Yeah, I would like to see Dean, man, because if Jesse went that far, that means he's something to this kid.
No, this is the Dean kid right here. They always say a little bit undersized, but when you look at what Georgia's defense was last year, and Georgia had I think 15 or 17 players
15, bro.
drafted. He was the leader of that Georgia defense. Think about all the players you had. 1st-round picks. Who went number 1 overall? Was it
Walker?
Walker from Georgia. I mean, then you had the David. I mean, all those kids went.
A beast, bro.
And this kid was the guy on the Georgia defense.
Corral them all. Say, listen to me.
He was the guy. He was the one. And so the Eagles said, well, I'm a draft your big ugly that was in front of you, number 99, and I'm gonna line you up right behind him.
Yeah.
So
the Eagles, man, I don't like them.
They had a pretty good weekend.
I hate them because they went and got Fletcher Cox. They went and got Fletcher Cox again.
They went and got the updated version, the 2020.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Of Fletcher Cox.
And that tackle from Alabama.
They went and got
Chris, where you been, man?
AJ Brown.
Where you been, Chris?
Traded for AJ Brown. So it's going to be a lot harder this year. But let's do this. Let's take our final break.
Oh, we got another break?
Yeah, we got two breaks.
I was getting ready to leave till you brought back up these kids, man.
Let's do our final break, and we'll kind of finish out the rest of this draft. Talk about some free agents. I have a name for you. I have 2 names for you, Nate. I got 2 names for you, Nate, in the undrafted class that you're gonna love. And I hope they make the team.
Damon Clark.
Yes.
Clark.
So coming up
Damon Clark.
After this break on Hanging with the Boys.
Damon Clark.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
How great would it be to travel to watch the Cowboys win on another team's turf? Pretty great. But honestly, just watching the game from anywhere but your house would be fun. Even a hotel bar with some guy named Phil from St. Louis who thinks Oakland still has a team. So whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com. Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office and your gym. For teaching grandma how to video call and teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back. Our final segment of Hanging with the Boys. This segment is brought to you by Cowboys Taco Fest. Miller Lite proudly presents the first Cowboys Taco Fest at Miller Lighthouse at AT&T Stadium this Saturday, May 7th. Celebrate Cinco de Mayo to all my peoples out there with world-class tacos, drinks, live music, and more. Take advantage of early bird pricing with tickets as low as $15. Visit SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium. Are you a taco guy?
Yeah, I'm a taco. If
it's edible, I know
it's got to be cooked right. It's got to be fixed right. And I do. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. Somebody told me this week, a guy that used to work for us, Bullock. He said, "Man, I'm eating a taco." I said, "Yeah, what, a chicken, beef?" "No, it's turkey." I said, "That's not taco. That's a piece of bread and some meat, or some crackers and some meat." Tacos is only two things, fellas. That's chicken or beef. All right?
No pork?
No.
Pork. I let pork slide in. But don't tell me you eating turkey. Come on, man. Wow.
Listen, we live in a new day. I mean, you got your fish
Turkey's
tacos.
for Thanksgiving.
You
Let's
got your
be
shrimp
honest with you.
tacos. You know, brisket tacos. A lot of different things, man.
Come on, man.
Kurt,
Stop.
You a taco guy?
Oh, yeah. I had tacos last night, actually.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really a taco guy.
Well, if tacos don't make you
overrated.
pass gas, they ain't tacos.
Yeah. I do think tacos are overrated.
Ain't that right?
What are we doing in there?
Let's finish up this draft, and I got two names for Nate that I think he's gonna love in our undrafted class.
Okay.
The last pick of the 5th round, Nate, you have been screaming for this type of player. A big nasty, a big space eating dude. And they found that guy in the 5th round at Arkansas, the defensive tackle John Ridgeway, 6'5", 320 plus pounds.
Yeah.
And
is he real 320 pounds? Come on, my man from Kentucky decided he wanted to lose weight last year. So is he? I need a dude.
At the combine.
I need a dude like I watched this movie where they showed this big caterpillar, just over big slobby, nasty white caterpillar just laying out there, man. And that's what I need. I just need a guy that just gonna lay on the ground.
That's a legit 320 right there, right? That's a legit 320. That's a big dude.
I don't know, man. He may get here and all of a sudden think he'll pass rusher.
He might want turkey.
That's
tacos.
what happened to all our fat guys.
He might want turkey tacos.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I need some guys that are going to be needing gas X before the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what a big, nasty, blah, 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 blah type guys. Coach, I got to use the restroom right quick. Like, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Oh. You think you're that type of guy, a gas X guy?
Sure.
Yeah, man.
On that weight.
I just want somebody that because I don't think we're going to have a very good team this year. Let's say we trip into the playoffs. One thing I do not want to happen is run right up the middle, run right up the middle, then run outside, then touchdown. Yeah. I do not want to see that. We've seen that enough, right? Well, what's your second guy?
And then our other guy is a Devin Harper linebacker out of Oklahoma State. Got him in the 6th round, pick 193. But to your point, Nate, when you look at these draftees from 1 to 6, it seems like that there has been an attitude adjustment. It seems like when you start looking at all of the write-ups for these players, when you hear them speak in their interviews, one thing has kind of been the norm. It's been that these are aggressive, quote-unquote, nasty players. And I mean nasty as far as attitude, right? Ready to rip your head off.
Yeah, they take baths and stuff like that.
Yeah, punch you in the throat, right? Like, bite you. Whatever it takes to get that done. So whether that's from the offensive line or from the defensive side of the ball, I think that what happened to the Cowboys last year in the playoffs against the 49ers, I think that resonated and rung.
Any team we played that had an attitude. Yeah, any team we played that had an attitude, we couldn't equal that. We couldn't equal that force. Right. We need to go get Draymond Green,
Can these young guys change that this year, or is it kind of a slow build?
To quote the movie Remember the Titans, attitude reflects leadership. So I think the first thing of it is it has to come from the coaches.
Dan Quinn got it.
Our coaches have to have a nasty attitude. Yeah. They have to want to see a couple fights, right? I remember at times, and you said this, and I've heard Nate say this. Michael say this at times, where Jimmy would come to Michael Irvin and say, "Listen, this practice is dead. Go start a fight.
Yeah, get somebody going.
Get somebody going, and whether that's get somebody going by trash talking or fight happening, but it would get.
He kept a James Washington,
right?
For that, James was a good athlete, intelligent, way intelligent than you would ever think the way he would act. But you can rest assured, if he'll try something, and if Jimmy kind of smiled, then it's on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so you got to have those type. That's smart. Remember I said James Washington was smart beyond what you think.
Right.
Even though one time he almost took Alvin's head off, and I think that was just a little bit too far. that really did start a fight. Our practice went from here to playoff. Right. When we got out of that practice, boy, there's some guys hurt after that practice.
And again, that's a mentality that has to resonate throughout the locker room, right? It has to become, we talk about identity. Like, I go back and I just watch. When I watched after the fact, I watched the Niners walking out of the tunnel before that game. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There was an attitude about who led that line. It was Deebo Samuels and Trent Williams. Mm-hmm. Like, that's who got off the bus first. That led, as I'm working the game in the pre and post game, I missed that. I didn't see it till afterwards. And I saw that beforehand, I don't know. I saw game over. Game over. You're like, how you
I saw
that right there. Yeah. That tells me right here that those two dudes is lit.
And the quarterback fell in behind them, bobbing his head.
And I said, that's it.
I saw it because we was at the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm looking.
That was
it. We ready for that? I asked myself, and I asked our guys, I said, y'all think we ready for that? And I thought about what Jesse said. Well, Nate, you just can't do it in 1 week. I'm like, yeah, you can. Remember we went back and forth,
absolutely.
Getting physical?
Yeah.
And I'm like, they bobbing to the music. Because I remember we did them like that with our young guys.
Right.
When they came up in our stadium over there in Irvin, and them young guys did the same thing. And we did that. We took them. Yeah. We physically beat them. I don't want to say the other word that we used to use. It's not cool anymore. And they took them, man. And they did the very same thing to us, and we gave them the ball first. Hey, y'all can have the ball first.
Yeah. and it feels like there's been an attitude adjustment with the way that these draft picks have come in. But we'll see.
Don't bring that up, Jesse.
We'll see. We'll see, because you can talk a good talk in the media, and, it's.
So when is training camp?
It's different. It's different once them pads come on. Are you going to be – and that's the biggest thing. Again, it's these young guys are coming in and they have that, but you have to have that leadership part of it. You need the other.
You got to be able to control that fury too.
Yeah, you need the other guys who are going to be here and be starters and to pick up that as well to kind of really help this thing move forward. And before we go, I got 2 names for you, Nate.
You got 2 more?
No. These are just names.
Okay.
These are just names.
Okay. I'm like after the 5th, not seen and not heard.
I'll go around quickly with these, and then we'll get your grades, and then we'll get out of here. The first name is where'd it go? I lost it.
Marquise Bell from Florida.
No.
Your school, huh?
I'm looking for Big
He better
Cat.
come to play.
I'm looking for Big Cat. There's a guy on this team.
Yeah, Big Cat Bryant.
Big Cat Bryant. That's it. There we go. What is that?
UCF.
Yeah, there it is. UCF.
Yeah.
Big Cat Bryant. Now, when a guy comes here to Dallas and dons the name Big Cat,
right.
Is there a level of expectation
Yes,
that's
it
put
is.
on him? Or
Yes, it is.
should you say to him, hold on, young fella, I know what they may have called you around the way, but until you prove to us, now he did K and not C, but, he going to say, your coach, one of your coaches is Big Cat.
Is that Marquez?
So this is Big Cat, right here. So should he hold off on that name that Big Cat?
Nah, that's his name. That's his name. You got to give it to him. That's his name.
Okay.
But I'm saying, how to pronounce my homeboy, man? Is it Marquez or Marquise?
No, Marquise.
Marquise
But that's
Bell.
not the name I have for you.
I know it's not, but I gotta mention him even before A&M.
The name that I have for you is the Ole Miss wide receiver, down at the bottom. Second
Ole
from
Miss.
the last.
Dontario
Drummond.
Get that one right.
Oh, I'm gonna call him by his right name until he ain't the right name no more.
Well, this is actually the name that you actually call Don Terry.
Yeah. So if Dontario messes up, he'll start calling him Don Terry.
So hopefully you'll be able to get this name right because you called the other Don Terry Dontario for so long. So those are the 2 names. Because
he was with them donuts.
Yeah, those are the 2 names.
You want to leave them donuts alone.
So quickly, we'll go around and we'll close this thing out. Nate, draft grade for the Cowboys for this 2022 draft. And I know it's early. I know you got to wait and see what guys are.
For what I've seen, I got to give the Cowboys a B+ because they covered a position that I was really craving for. And I told you guys, they got a tight end that has the potential to be able to run block and catch. To me, that is the steal of the draft for me, Jess. Mr. Jake Ferguson. I got to give him a B+ for that. And they addressed other positions of need. So I got to give him, I don't know about the first-round pick. I am just watching and waiting. I will be at camp. If I got to, I ain't paying for it. Come on, somebody help me.
Kurt?
B. Yeah, I think I like that they have filled some needs. They got good value, it seemed like, in the later rounds. The question mark is going to be the first-round pick. Can he step right in? How's he going to adjust? So that could bump. I've heard or I have read some other places people talking about this is a boom or bust draft. I mean, some of these guys, if Tyler,
as long as the tight end don't
boom
or bust.
It could kind of go either way, but I have faith in Will McClay and his crew, and I'm giving it a B.
I went C+. I went C+ for the draft because of the questions. When you take a first round guy, to me, it's a guy that you have to be able to plug and play right now, and I'm against plug and play, especially against the offensive line. I need a guy that's going to come in and play. Plug him. I mean, I'm not position flexibility. He needs to be able to come in and play right away where you're going to have him play. There's still some uncertainty about that. There's also a guy, again, who had the most penalties in college football from the O-line spot.
We got to coach that technique,
so,
man. We got to coach. He ain't weak.
That's the
He
thing.
also had the most snaps, by the way.
Huh?
He also had the most snaps.
Yeah, he did have a ton of snaps.
Yeah.
So.
He had
Still, he better.
909 snaps.
We still have to work his technique. His technique has to be flawless by the time we get to train. By the time we come out of training camp, I like because the first round pick is everything.
It is,
regardless of whether we want to believe it or not. It is everything.
It sets
but
the
man,
when
you went out and got a tight end,
all right,
that can possibly block. I'm serious.
All right. Well,
nothing else matters.
Well, that right there is the end of our show.
Man, I'm gonna go play some Journey behind this, baby.
Yeah.
We on a journey,
Go
baby.
do
We're
your
gonna do
thing.
some Journey.
Kurt, thank you.
Sir.
Hey,
Nate,
man, way to
thank
do
you.
your thing today, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank
Yeah.
you.
What is it?
Sometimes you
Shannon.
gotta just call.
See, I ain't,
now and again,
you know, Shannon kind of remind me of somebody else, man. You know, he come when he want, you know. Come on, Kyrie Irving,
He'll
don't
be
do
probably
that.
down there eating lunch.
Yeah, he Kyrie Irving for the
Kyrie?
for the Brooklyn.
Man, well,
yeah, the world is flat.
Well, like Kyrie, we're out of here until next week.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us, and yeah, man, hanging with the boys. We
Great
out
job.
this.
Yeah. All right.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!